Excellent. Okay. Welcome to the meeting. I'll kind of chair things if nobody objects. It's April 10th. Okay, so let's go through quickly the AIs from the last meeting, and then we'll jump into the agenda. So Peng, you're going to write a proposal for tar header annotations for the raw layers.
You did. Then let me
No,
do
sorry,
it
not
this way.
not yet.
And not yet. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So that's still work in
Yeah,
progress.
and for that one, I think we should talk to Docker folks as well,
Okay.
because they do have a case that is related to raw. Um, like let's see how what they have or what is their use case.
Actually, we are using the model spec internally right now, and we also face some issues with our layers because when you put things down locally, you have to untar it, and that means twice of the I/O locally, and it is
Mhm.
very expensive for large language models.
Yeah, if the files are very large, right?
Yeah, yes. So we look forward
Mm.
to using the raw layer format
Mm.
to reduce the local I/O. And and also if we want to use further you implement additional optimization, mostly it will be file layer and we have to we if we have always have a tar header there, it's still doable, but it's it's unnecessarily complicated.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. It would be good if you could do some benchmarks, Ping, showing, the overhead of tarred and untarred layers.
Oh, we can do simple calculation. We have super fast SSDs, and it's still twice of the time with tar.
Hmm. And this is without compression, right?
Yeah, without compression. Yeah,
Hmm.
mostly
Yeah.
this is because of the disk I/O. You have to pull down the tar layer and untie it. That is expensive.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, excellent. I've added an action item for myself. I'm going to reach out to Emily at Docker and see if she can kind of add to that shared doc and join maybe the next meeting. Sorry, was there a question?
Andrew actually has a comment on the chat window. Uh,
Oh, Andrew's already done that?
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, Andrew has a comment on the chat window. So
Oh,
he means,
sorry.
yeah.
Sorry, I see in this chat window. Okay. Okay, so the concern, I'll just capture this, Angel.
Yeah, sorry,
Uh,
I was a little distracted at the start of the meeting here. My concern with the raw layer is that it makes the local storage when you're actually building you know, building the OCI artifact simpler, but you completely lose everything, all of the infrastructure that's been built around distributing OCI layers to things like Kubernetes, right? One of the things we were talking about a few months ago was extending the OCI image volumes feature to include OCI artifacts, and that won't be possible if you're using a raw layer. The tar layer lets you just mount that as a regular container image and have access to it immediately, right?
Like Hank, this was the reason why we always considered the raw layer to be more of a streaming case rather than um, the OCI cryo implementation of image mounting or artifact mounting, which cryo basically recently started supporting, right? So
Yeah.
like, and that's the like, I guess there's no perfect solution, but that's the problem, right? It's like if we do the raw, that means we're going to lose runtimes like cryo. Or if we don't do the raw, then there are some overheads. Like that's why I kind of asked for uh, the numbers to see what the overhead is. In the worst scenario, we may have both, but then provide the overhead and say that, hey, if this is the way you want to do it, this is the way to like either go with the tar or without the tar. Yeah.
Yeah, I sincerely wonder if there's any actual large language model users with the OCI version right now. Because if any user use it, they will certainly notice the problem.
Yeah. I mean, it's there. There's no dispute that there is an overhead of it, right? Of doing the tar, right?
Yes.
But there are also ways of overcoming that as well.
It's
Like,
also an
for
issue that
instance,
scales, right? Sorry to interrupt you, Burke. I'm
go ahead.
having a bit of a delay. But if you're packing something that is like a terabyte in size, chances are chances are you have 10 times that in storage available on the machine where you're creating the model kit. Um, Being able to use those things we're worried about, you know, models can get very large, but to use a model that's very large, you already need a very large machine. Pulling a 1 terabyte layer onto a laptop doesn't make sense because you're not going to be able to do anything with that anyways.
Um, it, it's expensive in the storage size. That is one point, but my concern is mostly about the speed because you have to large language models. They're huge, and you you need to spend a long time just to download it, and then you have to spend another round of time, this most likely the same long period of time waiting it to be unpacked.
Well, but a
But
tar file, an uncompressed tar file is just the file's data. It's made for writing a file to tape. So you read the header and then there's the file, right?
yeah, if you expect users to do that, then all the runtimes, their infrastructure has to change as well.
I'm not
All
sure.
the
I'm
run,
not sure I'm understanding.
all the, I mean, all the runtimes right now, all the runtime, what they do is they download the tar file locally, and then they unpacked it into another directory. That's the standard workflow for all the existing runtimes.
Right. And that's exactly what I was actually looking for. What is that overhead of untarring? Like, what is the amount of time we're spending uh, compared to the size? Like, for I think that was the number that I was looking for. Is like how much overhead does the untar actually brings?
It doubles your time basically, mostly because usually the disk speed is slower than the network, and
Hmm.
you have to write the file twice locally, letting alone the reading part, local read part. Reading you likely you will hit the page cache for reading, but you have to write it twice locally, and then doubles your download time.
I don't see how it doubles your download time though.
I mean
I
the
mean,
entire
in
time
my
from download to unpack.
but the download time, like when you're downloading a file, you don't care about disk speed, you care about network speed. And the network speed, they're getting like network speeds can be fast, but they're still significantly slower than a good NVMe SSD.
Um, it's actually it's not true if you are running LM serving in high, in some of the most of the um, standard GPU servers. You will have much faster network than your disk.
Okay.
In our case, we will have hundreds of gigabytes per second in the network side, but we only have tens of gigabytes per second on the NVMe. We are already using high-end NVMe's right now, and
Okay.
that's a standard CPU servers. We have around four. We have many of them, and I believe for most serving LM inference companies that the because this GPU is way too expensive, and usually they will buy they just spend a small portion of the money on network and disk. That will increase, make it very unusual compared to the old servers we had before. They'll be way much faster, but it is we still. But the norm right now is that the network is much faster than the local disk.
Yeah. I mean, that's not what I've seen, but if you have servers that do that, I've yet to find a source that can send data at hundreds of gigabytes per second. It like you'd have to like how do you optimize that storage to hit that speed? But that's beside the point.
Not just storage.
I'm derailing the
We have P2P systems that runs between servers, so it's
Mhm.
not just going back to the source. We only go back to the source to read the file for once, but then the files are distributed in a peer-to-peer manner between servers.
Mhm.
That's how you
Okay.
distribute the large language models in scale.
You're thinking primarily of things like the NVIDIA environments, I assume right now, paying like the H100s and the, eight hundreds or something like that.
And, even with H20, it's similar machine
Okay.
setup.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. I just want to make sure I understood what you were referring to. So it's yeah, understood. Thank you.
Yeah, but we all agree that
Historically,
if we do the raw and we say that, hey, you know what, this is where the header information goes, we all agree that that's going to cause OCI runtimes to not to be an option, right?
yeah,
Because
yeah, yes. I can we at least make it optional that users can
yes,
choose either
yeah,
raw
I
or
think that
tar.
would
Yeah.
be that would be the way to go with this because I don't see how we can convince OCI runtimes to do something very specific for our OCI artifact. We may give it a try. I don't know if that would work.
Yeah, I think it's okay. It, they will come around when they have serious users of this feature. So
Oh,
we can
Pang
we can
the
just
ever optimist.
yeah, optimism about this because we already hit this issue. So if they have serious users on this, they will see they have to use raw. So we can just let them go with tar, and in the future, I believe they will switch to raw.
Yeah, but on the other hand, I'm always a little bit skeptic about the OCI image mounting being any better performant than anything else, to be honest. So,
Yeah, and I believe we do not limit our use cases, and
yeah,
we from a spec perspective, we just need to
yeah.
define the format and let the users and the implementations choose how they use it.
Okay, all right. But yeah, it is what it is. We need to uh, have a bit more updates to the spec and then figure out where to put the metadata for the files and whatnot.
Yes,
Okay. Sorry.
I'll work on the target proposal. Make sure we have it in the next meeting. Yeah.
Great. Thanks. Okay, reading from the AIs. I apologize, I wasn't at the last meeting. So, Gorkum, I think the AI next couple AIs were for you. The changing
Yeah.
spec document to reference schema.
Yeah, and the sandbox proposal is already up, and the spec the someone offered to create the spec. I think the schema. Sorry, I was once the schema is up, I'll 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 reference that on the specification.
Uh, do we remember who is going to
Yeah, I
do
was
that?
actually looking. It's like I didn't want to. I think Cow was offering. I don't know if he's here.
Does anybody else remember? Um, Someone volunteering for that?
There is another comment in the chat room, right in the chat.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I will capture that in the notes as well. Thank you. Missed that. All right, captured. Okay, so it sounds like we need somebody to take on.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
sorry.
That's where the
This is the link to the schema. Okay.
the schema issue. Yeah.
Okay, I will link that here. Okay. Um, Peng, you were going to test the spec adherence for the Docker Moby runtime. You're on mute if you're talking.
Yeah, sorry. And that one is I haven't done it either. I'll work on it. Yeah.
Okay,
Sorry.
no problem. Angel, you were going to test spec adherence for Podman.
Um, I do not recall this. It was a while ago, but sure. Yes, I haven't done anything related to it yet. Sorry.
That's all right. Okay, so that covers the AIs. Thank you, folks. All right, for the agenda, updates from KubeCon. I guess I can start quickly. We don't unfortunately have anyone from Red Hat on, but my kind of, I guess, my feeling was that word about the spec is kind of growing inside Red Hat. There were more Red Hat engineers that came by the booth to talk about the spec and say that they had been hearing about it and were interested in it. So people beyond the group that we've been speaking to. So that was great. We were able to meet with Matteo in person, for example, and he's very excited about it. I think he's acting as a bit of a cheerleader inside of Red Hat, which is awesome. We had a first meeting with the Docker team when they announced their packaging format on the Friday before KubeCon. Like that was like the, I don't know, 29th or 28th or something like that of March. I'd reached out to their head of product management for AI and said, hey, we're building a spec in CNCF. Would you guys like to be involved? And so he suggested that we meet it at KubeCon. So I met with Justin, the CTO, and Emily, who you've seen in the Slack channel, and we discussed what we were trying to do with the spec. They seem interested. So Andrew Block from Red Hat was also there. He took the action item to create the doc, which you guys have seen. He's linked that in the Slack as well. So I will take an action item to ping Emily and just ask if she can start filling in that doc so that we can perhaps discuss and have her join our next meeting, ideally, since this is related to the whole raw file situation that we were discussing today as well. Other than that, I didn't see anything at KubeCon or hear anything at KubeCon that would represent kind of an alternative packaging. It seems like people are kind of more just interested in seeing where this spec goes, which is great. And of course, the last thing is that the cryo runtime did add support for OCI artifacts directly, so that seems like a good move from the runtime side. I guess Gorkum, Angel, you were also there. Any other comments that I missed?
No,
No,
I
not
guess that
really.
was it.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead, Gokum.
No, I was gonna say no, not that was it. I haven't really
Okay.
nothing more than that. Yeah.
Just one other kind of personal note. I was surprised there was a lot of conversation about AIML at KubeCon Europe, but most of the attendees we spoke to didn't really have anything much to do with AIML. So that was a little bit different than what I expected, and a little bit different, I think, than what Gorkum you'd seen at the KubeCon North America. So it may be that the European Union's AI Act has kind of slowed adoption of AI in Europe, or it may just be that the people who signed up for KubeCon EU just didn't happen to be the ones working much on AI. So we'll see, I guess, as we move forward. Any other questions people had about KubeCon EU before we move on? Overall, it was a good show. All right, let's move on to the maintainers file. Gorkum, I think this was an agenda item for or from you.
Yeah, I created a PR with a maintainers file. I don't think I captured everyone on that file because I really don't have any clue who has access to the repo. But this is one of those files that we require on the repository uh, for the sandbox proposal. So I listed the PR for now at the proposal, but it would be good if someone can make sure that I have the right set of people on the maintainers file and also get the commit
Yeah, I
merged.
commented there with current list of maintainers of
Okay, do you
but
want me to update it?
yeah, yeah,
Uh,
please update it. And I want to ask you because you are not in the list of maintainers. Do you want to be added?
sure. That would be
Okay.
great.
Yeah, great. I already sent you the invitation because last time I sent it, you haven't. Maybe it's on your spam
Oh, I thought I
box.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
if you can
I will.
resend it,
Yeah, I will just send the
because
invitation. Yeah.
yeah, that would be perfect. And I will update I didn't see your notes, but I was traveling, so okay. It's a good thing that we brought this up then. Um,
Are there other folks from this meeting who should be included as maintainers? I don't think I should be, so I'm not asking that because I want to be. I'm just
But
asking in
but
general.
but you are actually you are there.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
you are there. I'm not. So apparently I missed the invitation.
Okay, I see. Okay. Right. I mean, I don't mind being part of it. It's fine. I just
Yeah.
I didn't feel like I needed to be if we were trying to keep the numbers down.
No, I don't think the number of maintainers is an issue. I
Okay.
just didn't have access to it because apparently I missed my invitation, but
Okay.
okay.
All right.
I'll
Thank you. Thank you, Peg, for resending.
will update it.
All right. Were there any other topics? Oh, I guess I did want to ask one thing. On I think one of the previous meetings, it had said that the topic for KubeCon China had been accepted, which is awesome. I remember that happened, I think, just before we left for KubeCon. But I think Japan was still uncertain. Have we gotten an either yes or no for KubeCon
Oh,
Japan?
we haven't got passed the proposal for Japan, but we've been talking with CNC folks, and we can have a battle feather there
Okay.
battle feature there if we want to do it. Actually,
Okay. Sorry.
Chris is very supportive on this idea, and so I want to confirm with you. With actually, I need to confirm with you guys if both is interested enough for you to go there, because I actually need to I need to reply to Chris by the end of this month. So do mm,
Um,
do
sorry,
you have any plan for KubeCon Japan
and that birds of a feather is for Japan or for China? I missed that.
from Japan?
Okay. Thank you.
So can I have an answer at some point?
Yes, we let me discuss that with Gorkum and Angel. I don't think we had a plan of being at KubeCon Japan just because it's a very long way.
Yeah.
And it's quite a
But
lot of.
are you going to China on Hong
No,
Kong?
I don't think we had not planned to be at either. So I think, I mean, I think there's a lot of folks on this call who will be at KubeCon China who I think can represent the spec well. That's my personal opinion. Is just, I trust you guys to represent the spec and be the cheerleaders at that show. So um, there's a small chance that I might go to KubeCon Japan, um, but I need to discuss it with the team.
Okay. Okay. So when you have an answer, please ping me, and so that I can reply to Chris about
Mm.
this.
Yeah,
Yeah. Thank you.
thank you.
Oh, by the way, Grok, I've sent you the invitation.
And how I see it.
Excellent.
Okay.
Okay, anything else we want to discuss? All right, then I think we can close the call. Thank you, everyone. This is a good discussion.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks all.
Bye bye.
Bye.